Hello, I'm Dana Kapaska, and I'm going to be getting into the nitty gritty of wayfinding through the Apple Maps with you, the user, today. So let's dive right in. Here's an overview. So the search process, this shows a generalized search for a topic. So for example, as you can see in the search bar, I'm looking for a veterinarian. This is not my current city. This was just the best way to show an example. So as you can see, the icon is red with a paw print. There's a few of them that are red or gray and have a number inside of them. This just means that there are that many clinics within that location, specified by the app itself. So outside of that, you can search also just typing in the full address, street address, city, state, and zip code. If you are using location services with your phone, not all of that may be necessary. So my phone knows that I am in Yuma, Arizona. It uses my location services, and so I only will need to type in that clinic, and it will only show me those close to me rather than showing me some in Maine or Michigan. There's 3 viewing versions. There's map, satellite, and transit. The map version is shown on the left of the 3. It is your simple kind of washed out gray tones, just showing you small icons as well as your final location. The satellite is in the middle. This shows the shape of all buildings, shows streets, kind of pulls out all the stops there for the viewer to officially see where they're going if they need a little bit more information. And then the third is transit. I was not able to get a clear image for this one. This would be more relatable if you lived in New York maybe and you have the subway or those types of other transportation options. As you can see, you can also use, or I guess enable, the traffic mode on your maps. This is shown in the image on the left in the bottom of the screen. My traffic is on, and I will talk about that in a later slide as I am completing my actual task. So next you have to select a route. This shows 3 routes. They all have the same time for this specific location that I'm going to, Desert Veterinary Clinic. There is, however, a hazard sign, I guess, at the top of the image. It's that yellow triangle. That is because the highway that it wants me to take has an exit closed right there. So Apple Maps is very good about continually being updated with specific locations of what is available and what is not. So once you select your route, all you do is you hit go and it will start your journey. So here is my journey itself. The first image shows where I am starting. Of course, I'm starting on Monaghan Loop. That's where my house is, and gives you the direction of where you will be turning next. As you can see, that is shown a couple different times on the screen. It's always in that top banner. So in 0.2 miles, turn right, 350 feet, turn right, in 0 feet, turn right. So that means you are right at that cross section that you need to be at to actually make that turn. So that's kind of your final warning of, hey, you got to turn right here. So the next one, I kind of skipped some of the streets. We didn't need to go through my full journey, but so this would be getting more kind of closer to those main roads. So as you can see, it shows still those turning type of directions and then how long or the distance from that turn. As you can see next to the turn, there is an indication as to whether the roads cross, whether it meets kind of in a Y, whether you are turning maybe onto a one-way, anything like that, which could be very helpful to the driver and a user to help clarify those directions. So one thing that's interesting with this, in the third image, it says turn right onto Avenue 3E. One thing that may not be known is that that avenue actually begins in the entrance of my current location. So to help kind of buffer that, the Apple Maps has created a feature with another small drop-down menu that comes down and it says continue along this road. Sorry, I have something in my throat. So this kind of just tells the user that you are doing the correct thing and to keep on going. At this point in my journey, I made a variation. While the blue saturated line, which is telling me my course of direction, is telling me to continue going straight, I turned left. This can happen if maybe the user doesn't understand the instructions, or maybe they know where they're going and have a different way of trying to get there. So as I turned left, my GPS and Apple Maps did not realize I had turned left already, so it continued going through the intersection. Once it had realized that my positioning was not what it had assumed, it quickly corrected, as you can see in the second image, and it kind of cut across that area that had no roads, just to try and line back up with my actual positioning. So the next two images just show some icons. You know, there's an airport or a botanical garden. And one thing that's interesting, though, is the final image. This is a business-heavy road. There's car dealerships and fast food restaurants and all kinds of stuff. But apparently they did not feel the need that it was connected to my journey to actually indicate those things on that current area. So here's some more of my journey. Now they are thinking it is important to actually tell me where there's a hotel or a shopping center, urgent care, fast food, anything like that, which is shown through those icons. We will get into the icons a little bit later on, so don't worry about that. So here is my getting to the very end, my grand finale of when I arrived. So as you're getting into your location, the closer you get, you switch from that more 3D kind of engaged into the interface view shown in the first image to a straight bird's eye view shown in the second image. This is because you are getting close enough to your location that the map company thinks it is a better version to show you this way rather than confuse you with those extra streets. And of course, the final image says arrived Desert Veterinary Clinic. You can see the logo is just to the icon is just to the right of my GPS location. And this is just because I'm close enough. I can see signage of the actual location itself. Maybe there's a parking lot right there, any of that kind of thing. So once you have arrived, you can end your route, which is shown in the red button at the bottom, which can also be shown through all of the other images, and which is an option throughout. So here's some added features with Apple Maps. First off, you can look at your detailed description. So this would be kind of like MapQuest, which kind of, you know, takes you back a few years. So when you would MapQuest something and print it out on paper, and it would just show you those printed directions of you're going to go 27 miles and then you're going to turn. It essentially is the same thing. Next is an overview feature, so you can see your overall path that you are going to be taking. Thirdly, there is a swipe up map that you can engage that contains the overview, the details, and audio selections. But in addition to that, say if you're on a road trip and you look down and you need gas for your car, you can hit the gas station and it will locate the ones closest to you, give you a list. That way you have some pickings of where you want to go. Maybe you have a preference, but it also will tell you the closest. So in this, you can hit go directly and it will take you right to that gas station or fast food restaurant, anything like that, straight from the location that you are already in. One thing that is a downside is that it stops your tracking to the vet clinic or your original destination. So you will have to restart your program if you have to do that. Now, I mentioned the traffic earlier. On the second image and a little bit on the last image, you can see what I mean. So that blue saturated line suddenly becomes yellow. This means that there's some heavy traffic there. In more populated cities and things like that, it might be red, which might mean traffic is at a complete standstill. You're not getting through right now. So this was kind of done at more of a busier time, and I only happened to be able to catch those yellows. So that would just kind of serve as a warning. There are some ways the designers have increased the usage of the app itself. So there's an enhancement that the screen will turn from that blinding white to more of a darkened gray while still keeping your GPS location the same and your saturated blue course of direction. And this happens at sunset so that you do not have to do or you do not have to strain your eyes kind of at night and almost blind yourself when you look over at it. While the designers did really good with coming up with an enhancement, there are a couple of flaws. Many people would prefer that satellite version that I showed in one of my earlier slides. However, once you hit that go button for your route, it translates right back to your maps mode. So it will not give you directions in this mode. This could be helpful if it was, or if you could remain in satellite mode, especially if you didn't know where you were going, what the building looked like, um, anything like that. So that kind of dampers the application itself. As you can see on this one, some cases it's a little bit overly detailed. So those differentiations between the roads that you can see, they are maybe 3 feet, a 3 foot difference right there. However, they are trying to be so overly detailed, and it could cause confusion. People might think they're looking for a completely separate road after another block, whereas in this case, it's just a small barrier. So that kind of isn't necessary and might actually cause more confusion to the user themselves. And the last flaw is their icons. So as you can see, anything that you spend money on, those bottom ones that are the yellow and orange, while they all look very similar in color, those icons are very small. And if you remember from the actual task and the journey itself, those icons are very small on your screen. So you're going to have a very difficult time viewing anything, I guess, kind of, especially if you're the driver and trying to multitask. You could, mistake the post office for a bank or anything within that, type of realm there. And after doing some research, there is over, I believe, 300 different icons that Apple Maps has created. So I understand that it's difficult to come up with different colors and types of things like that. However, there has to be a better way. It just could cause way too much confusion for the user. So thank you for listening to my presentation on the usability interface of Apple Maps, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.